Okay, what's up, everyone? Welcome to my live stream. And hey, what's up, Cynical? Welcome. How you doing? It's nice to have you in the building. Welcome, Shakanulu. Nice to have you in the building. I say this every time I do a live stream, but I actually mean it this time. I'm going to make sure to keep this short. Not too long, unless I have a panel, but I don't think I will have a panel. You know, there's a few things that I was going to talk about and stuff that have just been in my head for the longest. Not for the longest, but let's say about for the last 2 to 3 weeks, and it's nothing different from what you may have already heard about. You know, but just my take on them. You feel me? So it's a few things I was going to talk about, you know. So it's not really going to last too long or anything. And yeah. Now, and I'm going to go down the list cuz I did write it down and all that stuff. So, the last 2 3 weeks have been quite eventful. And this matter of fact, this last weekend was pretty dope as well. And I'm saying not just for me, but I think for a lot of other people, because, hey, the Knicks finally won after 53 years of chasing a championship, even though I don't know if you could say they were really chasing a championship, you know. It almost seemed like they were happy to just exist in the league, or at least their owner was, you know. So I think since the days of Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell and Marcus Camby, I don't think after that they were really chasing no ring, bro. Like, because I mean, Carmelo's New York Knicks, they definitely weren't chasing shiznit. You understand? So yeah, that damn Carmelo, man. Now I'm talking about the basketball player, because there's another Carmelo Anthony that is getting a lot of media shine and stuff. So, but we gonna get to him a little later. So, first off, I was going to kick it off with talking about somebody, in my real life. You know what I'm saying? Because if y'all know, I be outside at times. Some of you niggas don't be outside. Let me not start with that. But yeah, some of you niggas don't be outside though. Anyway, so one of my, should I say, associates or acquaintances outside, right? So outside of YouTube and stuff. Um, I did a stream about him, I think last year. Might have been around this time. As a matter of fact, I may have to go back and look. And well, how should I put it? Uh well, there's only one way to put it. The stream that I did about him last year, I was talking about how dumb he is, you know. He's another person that was really happy this weekend because, the Knicks won, being that he's from Brooklyn, you know. He was my neighbor. He was my neighbor and he was the one that I said, you know, is about to make a mistake cuz he about to move in with his ex, with his baby moms. Well, fast forward a year, about a year now, right? Or not even a year, 11 months. Anyways, fast forward to now, she kicked his ass out. Oh, yes, she did. Kicked his ass out. It's been crumbling long before that. But I hate to say it, man. Smooth Stradamus. You understand? Everything that I said was gonna happen ended up happening. As a matter of fact, shout out to Blaze, man, because Blaze even made me remember something that he said that I totally forgot that he said. And that was, yeah, yeah, my third eye still open though. Yeah, well, we see how functional his third eye is, right? But yeah, he got kicked out, you know, and he didn't even do anything. That's the worst thing. He was actually doing everything that he was supposed to do as a boyfriend, as a father, as a baby daddy. You understand? You know, he was contributing to the bills substantially, you know, because the dude has a 9 to 5. He has a blue collar job, you know. He works really hard. He does, you know. He does body breaking work, my nigga. And it's really unfortunate to see how everything blew up in his face. But then again, he deserves that shit. He deserves that shit. And not because he didn't listen to me, because I could have been anybody, you know, just telling them, hey, you want to take it slow. You want to be a little mindful of how you just hopping back into this relationship given the history. But he thought, fuck it. He thought his third eye was open. And now he's in the hotel, living in hotels and shit, using all those valuable hotel points that he racks up anytime he has to work out of town. It's a shame. And he should be ashamed of himself. You know what I'm saying? He should be. And I think he is. So it's not like I gotta stomp on the nigga for that. You know, he learned his lesson. But there's some lessons where it's like, yeah, you should have known better. I mean, after all, you presented yourself as somebody that already knew better because she already put you through it before. But I don't know. The power of the peace leave, man. Got niggas acting stupid. Stupid, like stupid. It's just, oh gosh. Anyway, you can refer to my one of my previous streams. I just titled them whatever. So I couldn't even really tell you which one it is. But it's one from last year. I mean, obviously you can tell that I don't go live as much. So it's a few videos down. If you can be bothered to even, listen and stuff. Because I'd be all over the place. But yeah, it happened I think last weekend, you know. And keep in mind, shit was crumbling before that already. Like there'd be times he would call me and she'll be in the background yelling at him and they'd be yelling at each other and shit. And I'd be like, what do I do now? Yeah, I just hang up. There's been enough times where it's like, oh, you talking shit with your friend. Da-da-da-da. It's like, what? I have the right to talk to my friends. Da-da-da-da-da. And then the next thing, all you hear is, because she probably beating his ass or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We just hear all that. Oh, man. It's crazy. What you mean, nigga? Why am I mumbling? Does it sound like I'm mumbling? Does it sound like I'm really mumbling this shit? Well, I did call it Monday Mumble. So, I'm mumbling, you know. Am I not coming through clear, Zone? Zone, you're the tech guy, so let me know. Am I not coming through clear? Oh, I'm good. Okay, good, good, good. When Zone says it's a go, it's a go. So let's go. But yeah, he was really going through it with her. And I think one of the key things that I always heard when one of the many times he would call me and complain is how she don't appreciate shit that he does. Now, is it good for me to laugh at this nigga's misery? Yes, it is. Why? Because nigga, I told you. You know what I'm saying? The girl saw that you was doing good without her. You were doing your thing. You were going to the gym. You were leveling up. You were saving your bread. Had a couple racks stacked away and shit. And now look at yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. He's still about his money. I mean, yeah, he's about his money as far as, he works and gets a check and he saves his money. So that didn't really change, but I don't think he works out as much anymore because, he's like he's losing the muscle mass that he had gained. But then he'd be like, yeah, yeah, I'll still be working out though. Shut the fuck up, nigga. You ain't doing shit. Fuck out of here. But anyways, I think what happened last weekend was that he was coming home. And he was coming home from leaving the crib a day before. So I think he left out, he went out, and he came back the next day. That's how bad shit was going. Is that he will stay away for a night, probably sleep at a hotel or some shit, man, just to get away from the constant bickering and the disrespect, yo. So he came back home, door was locked, and I think you need like a keypad to enter. So that shit was he changed that shit on him. Apparently she told him, yo, wherever the fuck you came from, whatever bitch house you came from, you better go back to that bitch. I don't even think he was coming from a bitch house, bro. You know? Y'all know how us men at times we just have to get away. Maybe you go to a bar or you just wandering around and stuff, and then the next thing it's 6 a.m. in the morning. That type of shit. So I think that's what happened. And yeah, he came back home and he found out that it wasn't home anymore. You know, it's pretty much it. You know, and He still has some importance. I mean, she left his shit outside, you know, so his shit was out, but it wasn't all of it. You know, I think he still has some important stuff and documents in the crib that he didn't get out. That he couldn't get to because she changed the door pad code on him. You know, third eye still open though. Ah, third eye still open. But yeah, you know, I told this nigga last year. I told him, man, you on a great trajectory right now. You know, she just looking for somebody to shack up with because the bills is high. And oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. That's how she was sounding on the phone to him and shit. You know, wanting somebody that she could split the bills with and all that shit. This nigga just, you know, it's just like somebody diving into a pool where you know it's crocodiles and alligators, all that shit. And you know it's in there, bro. And then you come out and you have like your limbs are missing, your arm, your leg, nigga, you know, your face is all bitten. Like what the fuck, dog? It's so fucking disappointing, you know? Again, I did a stream last year, I think. Or maybe it could have been this year, but I think it was last year about this very nigga. And now this nigga is just, I wouldn't say he's down and out, you know, but he is someone. Now you don't have access to your daughter again, you know. And I remember like last year was trying to use that. Oh, wouldn't you want to be around your kid if you had a chance? Like, shut the fuck up. Ugh. Don't be using your kid as an excuse to get back into some pussy that you miss, dumbass nigga. Jesus. So disappointing. I still, even now, I'm still disappointed, you know? Even though disappointment isn't, isn't an emotion that I should even be feeling or going through because I already knew it would happen, you know? But hey, it is what it is, you know? Like I told this nigga, bro. It's crazy, you know? There's certain things that you don't want to be right about, but then you still right about them. I don't know, maybe that's what I'm disappointed at. That this nigga just proved me right in every way. In every way. It's crazy. But yeah, anyway, the nigga had to end up calling the cops or whatever. I think he called the cops and they tried to get in or something. Cause I think he said something about she was still inside. He could hear her, you know, but she wouldn't open the door. The code to open the door didn't work. I think called the cops. They came through. They tried to knock. She still didn't open. They have two entrances. I think she kind of went out through the other entrance. Oh man, you know. But long story short, I think it's some kind of warrant for her arrest now or whatever. Because in the state of Georgia, I think it is somewhat illegal to just kick somebody out like that without prior notice and stuff. And yes, I know her name is on the lease or whatever, but you know, they were living together and it's like you gave this man no warning, nothing. You know, this nigga just coming home one day and all his stuff is outside, you know, or half his stuff is outside and you just blocked his access to the crib. This happened not this past Sunday, not this Sunday that just passed, but last Sunday, you know. And yeah, Anyway, fast forward, he got himself a hotel where he's staying at for the time being. He's already applied for a new apartment. Now, this new apartment that he applied for is in the same apartment complex. You know what I'm saying? Just, just fucking like, why would you want to get an apartment in the danger zone? You know what I'm saying? The red flag danger zone. You don't know that. First of all, you already know that she ain't trying to see you happy. I mean, there was one a weekend when I was over there and we was watching the Western Conference Finals, like the last game of the Western Conference Finals, pretty much where the Spurs beat OKC, and she wasn't home, but then she came home, and you could just see dog. She ain't even say nothing to me. She don't even know me. Imagine this is like the first time. This is the first time we even see each other. No hello, no nothing. She just said, "Can you get your car? Could you get your car out of my spot?" Because I think they have like right in front of the crib, they have the parking spots, and he couldn't park in his because somebody had occupied it. Somebody parked in his spot. He doesn't know who it was or whatever. So for the time being, he parked in hers. Man, she came home. Could you get your car out of my spot? And he was trying to tell her, yeah, I just parked there because she's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just get your car out of my spot. Like, whoa. It's like, damn, like, do you know some form of decorum, yo? Keep in mind, yo, this chick is a lawyer by trade or something, you know? He even told me that, yeah, she studied lawyer in college. She studied lawyer. He studied lawyer. Well, this lawyer, I guess when you don't respect your man at all, you don't respect his friends or the people that he hangs with or whatever. So, you know, I try to break the ice a little bit, try to say, come join us, watch the game, you know. That's the first time she smiled. Other than that, man, yo, frown all the way through, went upstairs and all that. Anyway, you know, this nigga got a new. Well, he applied for a new apartment, so I'm guessing he's still in the process of the apartment complex folks. The management just doing the paperwork and all that stuff. So yeah, this is where he finds himself a year later. Not even a year. So it's like all the money that he spent. I mean, of course, paying bills, doing this, doing that, taking care of his responsibilities as a man, because he was doing that. And this bitch just threw it in his face like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, nigga. Not just this. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. So yeah, that's that, man. So of course now he's saying the same shit that he said before he got back with her, last year. Like, yeah, all these women, all these girls, they don't respect it. Nigga, I don't even be hearing that shit no more. I don't even care. You know, that shit just goes in one ear and out the other. But hey, you know, I still listen to what he has to say because everybody has to have the chance to vent. You know what I'm saying? You know, it will be times where we will meet up at a bar and shit, and he would just be going off. And I be trying my hardest not to smile or laugh. You know what I'm saying? And have that I told you so face. You know? It's crazy. But yeah, That's one of the things I was going to talk about. Now, another thing is, well, there's another thing I had written down that I was going to mention, but I don't really think is worth mentioning. It's some chick that I met and all that stuff. She's a pilot and all that stuff. And but the thing is that I ain't really called that bitch in over a week. And the reason why I haven't done that is because, bitch, if I'm the one initiating I mean, I initiate contact, text her, whatever, and then she responds back and shit, and then we talk, or I call her and then we talk for like an hour and shit. But if our communication is always initiated by me, and it's cool that you respond and hey handsome and all of that shit, that's cool. But bitch, it would be nice to get a text from you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know you busy with work because as a pilot and all that shit, it's not for a commercial airline, it's for a company, company jets and shit like that. So she be flying them company jets and flying all the big shots of the company around the world and stuff. But yeah, my thing is, bitch, if I gotta initiate everything, well then, bitch, fuck you. How about that? Not that I told her that, but I think about 2 weeks ago, you know, I said that I was gonna call her over the weekend, and then when that weekend came around, I just said, fuck that. I don't even want to call her. So that was 2 weeks ago. Didn't really hear from her since, so it is what it is. If I hear from her, fine. If I don't hear from her, fine. So yeah, that's just that. Now another thing I wanted to talk about was I'm sure you guys have heard about this Carmelo Anthony with a K, you know, thing and a verdict, and he got 35 years. Now I'm not about to rehash what you probably see all over YouTube and stuff like that, but there were certain things because it's really unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? And I just see it as a L, a huge L for black folks. I strongly believe that as far as Carmelo Anthony, aka the watermelon felon, according to Jeff Metcalf, right? Um, I do feel that the black community let him down, and his parents too. You know, and the reason why I think that is because, I mean, from the few things that we know about the case and what happened, personally, I believe that he was defending himself just from the events and how things happened. Yes, I know those 21 witnesses, all said that he was somewhat the aggressor, right? But if you think about the fact that you're a teenager, you're going to have to continue going to that school, you know, and then also all these witnesses are from the prosecution that the prosecution called up. I'd be a fool to think that, oh yeah, the prosecution did not coach them on what and what not to say, especially given that the community over there in Crisco, Texas, or whatever, it's a small, tight knit white community, right? So, yeah, especially with that, what the dude that they call Eduardo, or better yet, Eddie. Eddie, 1 minute y'all was friends. You're the reason why. I think you're one of the reasons why he went up under that tent, to say what's up to you. And then at the trial, all of a sudden you ain't know who he was. And well, yeah, we ain't friends like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's pictures of you and him, of you, his grandmother and him. It's like how is he meeting your abuela and having pictures with your abuela and you don't know him like that? You know what I'm saying? Last time I checked, I think Hispanic folks are really big on family. So you bringing somebody like that around your family and stuff, and you don't know them like that? Do you bring somebody that you don't know like that around your family? Me, I don't know. Y'all tell me. You know. But yeah, and yeah, I still think that the black community let him down, especially the for one, those pro-black idiots definitely let him down, and it's crazy for me to say it because I'm a pro-black or I'm a former pro-black. You know what I'm saying? I used to be strong. Like college days was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I was a hearted handed, I was a heavy hearted, heavy handed hotep nigga. You know what I'm saying? To the core, nigga. But those were college days, you know what I'm saying? Even after college, you know what I'm saying? But just like every pro black or somebody that was a pro black in their past, you come to experience, you see and experience some realities that you just can't turn away from. You come to realize that it's a lot of black folks out here that just don't want to take accountability, like, and not take accountability the way the crackers say it, the Ritz crackers, you know not like they say it, but to a certain extent, it's a lot of things that motherfuckers don't like to take accountability for, and they'll always come with some bullshit ass talking point or something to just deflect from the core problem and issue. So for one, the pro blacks that came out to say, oh yeah, they try to make this a whole civil rights he's being done wrong thing. Like the dude that was like the the spokesperson for his parents, you know. Um yeah, that was a huge miss. They that in I think O'Shea Duke Jackson mentioned this. That press conference where Austin's father showed up at and they told him to leave. I always, even last year, I always felt like that was the wrong move, you know? And I'm not saying that because, oh yeah, he's already saying he forgives him and, you know, accept the white man. Like not in that way. The reason why I always thought it was a wrong move is because, look, man, everybody's playing some form of chess, poker, or something out here. You understand me? In this game of life, right? Everybody's playing some kind of role, playing some kind of game. You know what I'm saying? And it was just the wrong move to tell that man to leave. If he had already said, I forgive Carmelo and all of that stuff. Even if he wasn't being authentic, maybe he was just saying that for the cameras, right? Which we kind of see as of recent days that it was all camera play. You should play that game with him because at the end of the day, your son killed his son. If he's saying he is there to pray with the family and he's forgiven Carmelo, let him up. Let him say a few words. You know what I'm saying? Fuck what the pro blackity black bliggity blacks are gonna say or whatever the backlash is gonna be. You know why you playing your cards the way you playing them. You understand me? Because at the end of the day, look what he came out to say. He gave your kid, after the verdict, after getting the 35 years, he fixes his rotten ass mouth to say that your son is a watermelon felon. You know what I'm saying? And you cannot tell me that he didn't have that shit in mind before, or that he just became racist because of how the black folks was acting, as if he was made racist within what, 12 months or longer. Fuck out of here. You know? That dude went in front of the camera after he had his freaking interview with CBS and everything to fix his rotten, dirty, Ritz cracker mouth to call Carmelo a watermelon felon, yo. Now, don't get me wrong, that is a little funny, watermelon felon. But in all seriousness, man, you know, he was able to take off the mask finally, right? Man, you know, he played that perfect, you know. Let the pro blacks be out there with the fists up and saying a good cracker is a dead cracker, right? Like why the fuck would you? God. Oh my God, yo. When it comes to you know how they say staying on code, about being on code. This would have been a great opportunity for black folks to really get on code, man. And when I say get on code, not like, oh yeah, on some, marching and I'm gonna show the white man that he can't push me. Nah, not that way. You know what I'm saying? Staying on code in a more covert manner. You understand me? Letting the man show up at the press conference and give a few words. Let him do that. It's fine. It doesn't mean that you forgive him in your heart. It doesn't mean that, you know? But you just recognize that, okay, whatever this man is trying to do, I'm going to let him do it so I can use it to my benefit if it comes down to it. Because everybody's playing the game in front of the cameras, right? You know? Because keep in mind, he came to that press conference. If Carmelo's parents would have let that man, that's it right there. PR shit, just like Blaze said. If Carmelo's parents had let that man come up there and give a few words, how stupid would he look calling Carmelo a watermelon felon about a year later? You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. That's the game I'm talking about. You know? But nah, man. Niggas always want to be so, oh yeah, we gon' fight. We gon' fight. Man, yo, listen, man. I don't know what niggas think, but you're still 13% of the population, you know? And quite frankly, and I've said this to a few cats before, a few cats in the Zoom and in the Discord and shit, man. See, 2028, you know, when the Democrats come back in power, and they will, get their position back, you know. I don't think it's gonna look, and this is my opinion, by the way. I don't think it's gonna be the same as it was when black folks had the ultimate alley oop between 2020 and 2024. It's not gonna be the same. Because keep in mind, Joe Biden had already said something along the lines of, if, and I'm paraphrasing here, if the blacks want something, they should go to the Hispanics. This is after he had already said, if you vote for me, you ain't black. Oh, shit. So don't say you ain't been put on notice, because you have. Okay? Don't say nobody warned your ass, because you've been warned a few years ago. Okay? You've been warned, sir and ma'am. You know, I still believe that, black folks had the alley oop in the last 4 years. But you know what happened to that alley oop, man? the ABW or the BW took that alley oop and said, "Fuck you, black man, and fuck these black boys." These young black men. If they're not ready to be a doormat, or if they're not ready to be gay or queer or whatever the fuck, you'll fuck them too. They're just body bags. Body bags. Remember? Body bags. Damn, yo. So it's wild, man. Like, I hate to say this because I know cynical. If you're still in the chat, man, you're a black woman. You know, um, not saying that you are. You belong to that class of black woman, but y'all had the alley oop, man. And what I mean by alley oop is it's like the country, the government, everybody was willing to invest in anything that's black and acknowledge anything that's black, pour money into anything that's black. And all y'all did was artsy fartsy shit, queer shit, music shit, poem shit, you know, and talking shit about the black man when the black man has done nothing else but be loyal to you. Loyal to the point where they will talk shit about other black men. Black men will talk shit about other black men, because they don't want to fall in line with what the black woman has to say or what the black matriarchy has to say. Knowing damn well, man, it's killing them inside because it's like, damn, man, I'm an ally. Like I'm rooting for y'all. I'm rooting for everything black. Like, why y'all gotta come at me? But it didn't matter. It didn't matter if you were a man and you were black, you didn't mean shit. And they went out of their way to let you and the whole world know that you ain't shit, nigga. Despite everything that you have done for them, they will compare you to the worst gutter rat cockroach nigga that there is out there, that you have out there, and say everybody is like that gutter roach, good for nothing ass nigga. That same good for nothing ass nigga that you be having your kids with, may I add, right? You know, you say all black men are like that. I mean, you already know. I mean, why does the black manosphere exist at the end of the day? The same shit that Kevin Samuels was saying. The reason why everything that Kevin Samuels said was hidden, or most of it was hidden, was A, because he got it from a whole bunch of people in the black manosphere. Let's not forget that. That's first and foremost, you know. And secondly, everybody could resonate with that. And that's what the bitches hated. You know what I'm saying? Cooling out. I don't know what you're talking about right now. I don't know what you're talking about. Show the whole thing. Yeah. But yeah, you know, it's sad. It's sad, you know? And then also they use this alley oop that was given to them by the dominant society to shit on black men, to become queer, you know what I'm saying? Of course, to elevate themselves as the mother of civilization and this and that and that and this and that, right? But it's so funny how your decorum, your character, and all that stuff does not mirror anything that's queen like, right? Anyway, whatever. You know, alley oop that you could have used to actually really empower your community. If you see that the black man is not getting the opportunity that you could get as a black woman, right? Why don't you get all the opportunities that you can, get the resources that you can, right? And invest in the black man. Now, listen to what I'm trying to say here. Not that the black man can pull himself up by his bootstraps. I think we have hundreds of years of examples of that already. So you already know what the black man can do facing adverse circumstances. Hmm? But now it's like you getting the resources on your end, black woman, and now you strategize with the black man because you already know what he can do. He's done nothing but shown you that throughout history. Okay? Strategize. Build. This is where that building comes in. You know what I'm saying? You notice how okay everything is just black women or black girls rock, right? Everybody's somewhat always trying to undermine the black man and stuff. What can we do? What role can we play in empowering our black men? You understand me? Because you always know that if you invest in the black man, he's going to how should I say? He's going to multiply what you invest into him. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? You have nothing but uh advantages to gain from that, right? So for example, what do I mean by that? If you're getting the resources, right? You're getting money, you're getting this, you're getting that. What stops you from funding things that are beneficial for black boys, for young black men? All these trades, all these different areas where there is not enough black representation. What stops you from investing in those? Now, don't get me wrong. It's people that try to do that. It's black men that try to do that. But again, they don't have access to the same resources that y'all had. Mhm. So, what's the problem with working together? You know? But nah, we're black women. We have the same power as white women, and we can do the same thing as a white woman and a black woman, and like we're guys and we're queens. I, I, bitch, no problem. Now you've used your power, your leverage, your resources to talk shit and to down your own, right? And now you're being even more disrespected by people who are not black, people outside your community and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And now it's gotten to the point where black men don't give a fuck. The young black boys, they don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about what you got going on at all. They don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You ain't worth nothing but the shit that you carry between your legs now. You know what I'm saying? Hell, this nigga that I mentioned, my neighbor and stuff that's going through it right now, he's a good example of that. Huh? He's a great example of that. Why would you want to kick away or kick out somebody that is willing to build with you? Huh? Willing to come to the table so y'all can build. What's up with that? Why do you feel like you always have to talk down at him every chance you get, to discourage him every chance you get? Wow. What is the thing? What's that power play thing about? You want to feel superior to like why? Huh? You want to show everybody else outside your community, outside your ethnic group, you want to show everybody else how you got your foot on this nigga neck, as if he couldn't wiggle out of it and then go somewhere else, which is what niggas is doing, huh? Pathetic, pathetic. But again, like I said, I don't know. I may be wrong, but I don't think black folks is going to have that kind of chance anymore. You know, all your fucking beauty products that you wanted in Target and all that stuff. The black representation at the end of the day was just a black woman, black queer representation. The only black men that you give respect to are always got to be some kind of queer ass faggot ass nigga, a faggot ass nigga. That's who deserves respect. Who's that faggot ass nigga that said that black men, heterosexual black men, are the black cancer of the black community? Bruh. And they like to hear that type. That's the type of shit that they like to hear. Listen, man. If you end up, if you anybody, if you disparage your own group at the end of the day, you will suffer the consequences. And you should suffer the consequences. You understand me? You should. Now I was talking about Carmelo, right? And yeah. Now we did see, people donating to the GoFundMe and all of that, you know. And this is where I'm saying that his parents let him down as well. It's like, what happened to that gift send go money? You know? I mean, everywhere you look, if I look it up, it says that that money was paid out to the parents. It was paid out. My thing is that how do you get a public defender? A public defender? Who were the people that were advising his parents? And where the fuck did the parents think that that would be a good idea? How were they even able to be convinced of that? Huh? How can somebody convince you that a public defender would be the best thing to do in this case? First of all, that fucking black spokesman and all that shit that actually was the one that kicked Jeff Metcalf away out of that press conference. Fuck that nigga. That's that shit I'm talking about. And I don't know if the parents didn't have enough sense to know that, we don't want to make this a whole publicity thing, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man, because a lot can go through your mind if you see that your kid is being put through that kind of public scrutiny, and maybe you feel like he's innocent, and a lot can go through parents. I mean, I do also understand that they were going through a lot, but again, man, you stick to the fucking code, yo. Like, what are we doing? Huh? How come there was nobody? There was absolutely nobody. No, there was no black lawyers, no black credible not public, no black credible defense attorneys that were willing to take up that case. Nobody, huh? Even though I've heard that they were. What did Fantastic say? I think Mr. Fantastic, shout out to Fantastic. He said something along the lines of there were 3 black lawyers that looked at the case and they decided not to take it. I don't know how true and credible that is. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I fuck with Mr. Fantastic and shit, but I just can't agree with what he says sometimes when it comes to niggas, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I watched his live stream and shit, man, and he's saying, look, man, the witnesses, nigga, the witnesses came from the prosecution, my nigga. Chill the fuck out. Okay? Chill the fuck out, dog. The witnesses, the witnesses what, nigga? Witnesses ain't never warped the story. Witnesses ain't never told the story in a way where, oh yeah, the prosecution. coach them. The prosecution is calling these fucking witnesses, my nigga. You mean to tell me that everything that they said was valid? Everything? Are you sure? Because left to the witnesses, it seems like Austin was a sweetheart. It almost seems like, oh yeah, he went up to Carmelo like, excuse me, a strong black man. Do you mind leaving the tent? Huh? Thank you. No, there's a video. Yeah, I know. There's a video. That video thing is insane, yo. I remember. I think Zero mentioned this, man, where he said that, yo, like, ain't never been a case where a video gets hidden so bad. Like, I mean, I get it. I think they said that they're minors in the video and all of that stuff, and that's why they can't just release it out to the public. But that sounds like bullshit. I'm sorry. You know, it's something about these videos, you know. And there are people that have come out to say that they got to watch the video, I think 11 minutes before the video, before the stabbing and everything. And they were detailing what happened, saying that Carmelo was sitting down the whole time and all and the guys in the black hoodies or whatever that walked over to him and things like that, and how he was running. So their account of what they saw doesn't suggest that that Carmelo was the aggressor, like the witnesses were trying to make it seem. Hmm? Fuck out of here, man. The witnesses. Nah, dog. I'm sorry, dog. Fuck out of here with that shit, nigga. You know? But again, all that shit don't matter now because the boy got 35 years, yo. And again, that's what I'm saying. We already saw that the public defender fucked up. And it's so blatant. It's so blatant that he threw the prosecution the alley oop. So again, I think to myself, I'm like, so what happened? Why is it that Carmelo's parents could not get an actual private defense attorney that would really look at the details of this case and be like, you know, I think we could get him manslaughter at least. You know? Because I mean, at the end of the day, Carmelo did kill that boy. You know what I'm saying? So you can't also act like he's innocent. But if this is self-defense, then we need one of these lawyers because we're proud to be black. And look, we have black lawyers, we have black this, and we have black this, and we have black CEOs, and we always so proud to talk about the black professionals, and it's a ton of them out here in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? That do great work. But and maybe it's because I haven't heard about it yet, or whatever the case may be. I may be ignorant to that, but where were the black lawyers, attorneys that were willing to take up this case? I can't believe that nobody was willing to look into this. I've also heard something along the lines of, it was some lawyers that was charging like $500,000, which would have been like what 80% of the GoFundMe or the Go Gift Send Go money that they got, almost all of the money that they had at that time. I think that's another thing. Because it's also said that, Carmelo's dad, he lost his job as a car salesman and stuff. So it's like living expenses and all of that stuff. I think the house that they were living in that community that they were in, they were renting it. They have other children. So, I mean, life comes at you quick when you lose your job. And I think Carmelo's mom was not working, so she was a stay-home mom. So I mean, if she was a stay-home mom and the dad is the only one bringing the bread in, if he loses his job, I mean, life hits you pretty quick. Life will hit you pretty quick. But then you have to think to yourself, this is your child. And keep in mind, this is a black child that does not have a history, or at least we haven't heard or seen anything to concretely say that Carmelo had a violent streak or he was a YN or whatever the fuck. Not like that bitch ass Officer Tatum or that bitch ass black conservative perspective. That nigga deserves to get fucking yeeted. Yeah, I said it, nigga. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's a couple of niggas that I wish they would put the noose around their necks. And I'm gonna get to them in a second too. They really deserve the noose around their neck, bro. They really do. Is YouTube gonna flag this for hate speech or whatever? Oh well. But they deserve the noose around their neck, bro. It's a couple niggas. It's a couple y'all niggas that deserve that noose around your neck. You know what I'm saying? Because all coons must die. All coons must die. And those are the ones that physical and the ones that kind of like still have a, mental. You know what I'm saying? All coons must die. So either you take yourself out in the physical or you kind of like try to neutralize some of your coonish thoughts. Okay, even I have coonish thoughts. So I'm not exempt from this. My coonish thoughts and tendencies sometimes and some coonish tendencies that I have at times, they have to die as well. Or have to be neutralized. Definitely. Definitely. Because it's like when you pro black and stuff, you're really far in one end, and you find a way to always excuse some of the bullshit that black folks do, right? But then you know how it is. Life will always be the one to show you and teach you otherwise. You know what I'm saying? And then for some of us, we may tend to go to the other direction real hard and become hardcore coons, whether in the mind or even in the way we act, or both ways, in the mental and the physical. You know what I'm saying? And then you also have to, and then if eventually you get brought back to the middle. You always have to be in the middle. You got to get back to the middle, like India Ari used to say in her song. Got to find a way to get to the middle. You know, and that's where I find myself for the most part. I don't excuse. But Black Dynamite, I sell drugs in the community. Anyway, you know, yeah. There's nothing that shows that Carmelo Anthony had anything violent. I don't know much about the story where he saved a kid, but what is so what is so what is so crazy about that to not believe it? I mean, if you saved another kid, you saved another kid. Like, why is it so? Why are people making it seem like shit like that is not possible? You know, like it beats me, man. Like for real, pause. You know, and yeah. Further things that I was gonna say, about the family. On one hand, the community kind of let them down in the sense that they wanted to go on this pro shit, right? The community did show up when it came to the Give Send Go and the money that they sent to the family for the defense lawyer, you know, and the support that they gave them. All the motherfuckers that was yelling a good cracker is a dead cracker. Get the fuck out. Like those need to be erased. Those just need to be put somewhere and lock the door. You know what I'm saying? You can't have those motherfuckers come out in front of the cameras and do anything. You know, and that's the problem. Motherfuckers will really want to sometimes believe that protesting and putting a black fist up and all that shit like that is going to be enough. You think it's enough for you to know that, oh yeah, white folks do this to us and they did this to us. It's so okay. Now what you gonna do now? What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? Huh? Like it was so off cold, my nigga. It really, oh man. And then one thing I wanted to know, it's like, h- how was the family living in that Cisco, Texas, wherever the fuck that was? How were they living there? Like, did they know anybody in that community? Were they involved in that community, or was it just that, oh yeah, I got a good job and we moving close to these white folks because I can't be around these niggas? Was it something like that? Because it seemed like they seemed so isolated. Did they have any friends in the neighborhoods that they lived in? In the neighborhood that they lived in, for example? You know, because this brings me to another thing that I like to mention, you know, the fact that it always seems that niggas are isolated when they move, you know? And I can understand to a certain extent, you know, that whole isolation thing. But it's like, okay, you lose your job, you know, what the family's down and out now. Like why wasn't it possible for them to use the whole give send go money to get a lawyer? I mean, if it means that your ass gonna have to move back to Baton Rouge, or it's Frisco, Texas. My bad. I said Crisco. Um, if you have to move back to Louisiana, you know, or if you have to move in with somebody for some time, I mean, you're going through some shit that not everybody goes through all the time. Was there nobody that they could have stayed with at least for the time being? You know, I'm like, yo, you know that's why I was wondering, like, were they isolated in Frisco? Like, is it that they just lived there, they didn't know anybody? You know, the kids went to school, the dad went to work, and that was it. Because I mean, if that was the case, then you know, it goes to show, like, isolation ain't always what it's cracked out to be. Like, you have to somewhat be, I guess, active in the community that you live in. You do, you know? Like, people need to know you. You understand me? People in the community need to know who you are. And I'm not saying that you need to be some kind of community leader or whatever, but people need to know who you are. The cops, the firemen, and all of that stuff, you know? And this was a point that was brought up back with when Trayvon Martin, you know, during the Trayvon Martin thing, like the neighborhood or the area or the complex that his father was living in, you know, like how well known was he in that community, in that apartment complex or subdivision that he was living in? Like, how well was he known there? Like, did the cops know him? Did the neighborhood, whatever? You understand me? Because that in itself is important. I've come to find out. It is, you know, because if he would, and I forgot who made that point. This was years ago, by the way. You know, it's like if Trayvon's dad was known in that community, then it's likely that George Zimmerman would have known who he was being a neighborhood watch. But then again, that doesn't guarantee anything, you know. But still, you know, it's this thing where niggas like to isolate themselves, especially when they move into areas where they're the minority, you know. And this may not be in all cases, but y'all niggas need to check that shit, man. You know, like for real, because it obviously won't do you no good. And I'm not saying again that you need to be super involved in shit, but it does help that people will know who you are or know what family lives in that house, or oh, that's such and such, and we know him. Even if they say, oh yeah, he's one of the good ones. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? You know, it is important. No, I'm not saying black people gotta check. Well, you know what? Yes, you're right, Shaka. You gotta check in with the community that you decide to move to. You know what I'm saying? Just living in a house that is in a subdivision or in some suburbs or some suburban area and shit, that alone doesn't cut it. You know what I'm saying? You need to move. The people need to know who you are, and you need to know who the people are. Like straight up and down, my nigga. You do. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I don't even fuck with police like that. You know what I used to do in Houston, my nigga? I used to buy like 2 dozens of donuts and just take it to the police station. You know what I'm saying? In case a nigga get pulled over. Just in case. You never know. You know what I'm saying? I want you to know that I'm not a threat. And don't get me wrong. And don't be, oh, I'm not a threat. Oh, I'm a good house nigga. I'm a good one. That's not that. Not that. You know what I'm saying? Not in that sense. You know what I'm saying? For you dumb niggas out there. If that's what you think. You know? But yeah, I used to do that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to. You have to play the part, man. You have to wear the disguise. You gotta put on the mask. You know what I'm saying? You know? Some of you in the chat, you already know how obsessed I am with the shinobi arts and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put on the shichimode, man. The art of 7 disguises, man. You know? You have to, man. Diplomacy is thank you, Blaze. Diplomacy is necessary, man. Salutation ain't no love, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no love, man. Salutation ain't no love. You know? You have to know. You have to know what terrain you're in. You have to know what game you're in. And you have to know what player mask you're gonna put on to different situations. You know what I'm saying? You can't go around life thinking that you're not gonna participate. Trust me, if you don't play the game gonna play you, nigga. And I don't mean to sound like a game nigga or this ain't no pamp and none of that shit, but it just is what it is. You know? Nobody's bigger than the program. Nobody. No fucking body. Jesus himself wasn't bigger than the program. We all know what happened to that nigga. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's bigger than the program, man. Yeah, I'll even say God ain't bigger than the program. You know what I'm saying? If God don't serve a group of people, well, then they move on from that shit. Fuck that. Fuck that God. Like for real. You know? But yeah, man. Um, oh, I had a few more things I was going to say, but I'm going on hour 15 right now. So I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon. Something else I was going to say is about the coons, right? I think I'm going to kind of like fuse these points together. Now you see the Austin Metcalf thing, the tombstone. I think they photoshopped somebody pissing on the. It's not funny. It's not funny. You know what I'm saying? I don't support that kind of behavior where somebody's dead and you pissing on their tombstone. I don't care who it was, you know. And I personally believe that Austin Metcalf was a bully. You know what I'm saying? It's it's highly likely that he was, right? Because, you know, what's all that? Hold my beer. Blaze, how did you call it? Biff Tannen, right? Yeah, Blaze was the one that said that nigga was having a Biff Tannen moment and he found out. The next thing, the chest cavity just opened up like the pearly gates. It's not funny, yo. It's Biff Tannen moment, yo. Exactly. It's not funny. It's not funny, man. Because at the end of the day, he lost his life. He was 17 years old, you know, and that's a life cut short. But then at the same time, niggas die every day, B. You know what I'm saying? Niggas die every day from fucking around and finding out. You know what I'm saying? How many YNs have we seen die? You know what I'm saying? Because they were looking for the smoke. You know what I'm saying? So happens to everybody, you know? And yeah, I'm not in support of people pissing on his tombstone. But then again, I think that was AI, right? What I hate is the outrage. Obviously, Ritz Crackers is going to do what Ritz Crackers do. They say, "Oh yeah," talking all that shit, you know, talking about how low IQ and degenerate and all of that stuff, right? But hey, man, we don't have to even get into how degenerate they can get and how degenerate they get and how many of the degenerates we always see mugshots of from doing degenerate shit that they call low IQ and degenerate wouldn't even think of doing. Hmm? Okay. But what really upsets me is when I see coon ass niggas have shit to say about this Photoshop slash AI image of, you know, this YN or whatever pissing on the grave. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I don't want to play the what if game, but is it the what if game? No, the what about game, right? The what aboutism and shit. But hey, if we really gonna go there, what about Medgar Evers's grave? What about um Emmett Till's memorial site? What about Malcolm X's grave? What about Fred Hampton's shit? You know what I'm saying? How many times do all them things get shot up or graffiti put over them and all kinds of stuff? All kinds of motherfucking disrespect. You know what I'm saying? So now it's such a bad thing that somebody pissed on Austin Metcalf's grave. Yeah, this shit happens every day. B again. Niggas die every day. Niggas get their fucking tombstone disrespected every day. B. Okay? Sorry to tell you that. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking coon ass niggas, by the way. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, lastly, you know. I strongly believe that all coons must die. So what do I mean by that? Yeah, I think I already said it, right? Either physically just take yourself out, like for real, like take yourself out, or somebody need to take you out. And it would even be sweeter if it's somebody that's from the dominant society that you also protect. If they take your ass out, yes, nigga, I will rejoice. I will sing. I will say hallelujah. Praise be to the Father. I will do that shit. Absolutely. I would do it. Just the same way the black women was celebrating and dancing when Kevin Samuels died. That's how I would celebrate too. You know? And if that can happen, then mentally you need to purge yourself off the coon spirit. You know what I'm saying? And I know the word coon is used so you know is used so loosely nowadays. I even use it in form of like jokingly and stuff. But like this traitor ass shit, my nigga. Like niggas really need to get rid of this traitor traits. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, like that niggas that don't like to be held accountable will always be quick to throw the coon tag on you or the traitor tag on you, right? Especially when you're talking about things like accountability and stuff, like what the black community should also hold themselves accountable for, right? But straight ass niggas, like the ones I mentioned before, like a BCP or a Officer Tatum or hell, I'd even throw fucking what's that nigga called again? Supreme King Coon, SKC. You know, I'd even throw him in the mix. Like for real, man. You know, niggas like that need to get yeeted. You know, if if they can't be yeeted physically, then they need to be taught a lesson. Dead ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to get that kind of nigga wake up call that is traumatizing, that causes PTSD. That they break out in sweats in the middle of the night. That's the kind of wake up call I so desperately wish for people like that. I really do. I really do. You know, it's crazy, man. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, they could be all anti nigga and shit like that. And because of their skin color and shit, they will easily just blend in with everybody else to make it seem like they always been for black people. Tommy is another one. I'm sorry to say it, man. Fucking Tommy Sotomayor and shit like that, man. That nigga been cooning it up for fucking years, yo. And then when he finally got the boot from the dominant society, it just became what it became, yo. I'm glad that nigga was called fucking crispy, nigga. I used to call him crispy. So much so that I would even blank on his real name and call him Crispy as well, yo. And I have to say something to that Crispy. Yeah, Tariq, because I was listening to a lot of Tariq back then as well. Tariq had his reasons or made up reasons for why he was calling him Crispy, talking about the skin color, being dark and shit like that. Let's be honest, man. First of all, black folks, we like to joke about those things. And at the end of the day, what is a fucking roast? What is a roast when you're roasting somebody? Huh? Isn't it you jabbing at the insecurities of that person? Isn't that what a roast is? But at the end of the day, don't take it that serious because it's all in jest. But when you're actually roasting somebody, you go low and people are like, oh shit. What are they saying oh shit for? Isn't it because they jabbing at the insecurities and shit like that? Huh? And I don't know about y'all, but y'all know I grew up outside of the US. I grew up in Europe and all of that shit, right? And I have to tell you, the coons or the coons that I always encountered, for the most part, were always the ones that were dark chocolate skin, my nigga. Dark chocolate skin, a lot of hair, no edge up. I don't know what it is with that no edge up thing, but that seems to be a universal thing. You know what I'm saying? And because the thing is, you would think to yourself, you'd be like, yo, why would you talk like that? You even darker than me. You know what I'm saying? It's always the nigga that's darker than everybody else that has the widest take. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy, you know? And that in itself was upsetting. It's like, nigga, do you hate yourself that much? Huh? Dog. So that's why when time was first called crispy, man, it just resonated. It was just like, yeah, it was meant to be, yo. Crispy ass nigga. Shut your crispy ass up. You know what I'm saying? Because a nigga that look as crispy as you should not even have anything anti to say about black. You know what I'm saying? Straight like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what anybody fucking says, yo. Crispy. All right? It fits. It fits. Now don't get me wrong. There is milk chocolate skin coons. There is light skin coons. Oh, light skin coons as well and shit. You know, the ones that wish that just needed to make it over one more hump to get over to the other side, or at least to look like they belong to that side. You know? Yeah, I remember back then, you know, when I was young and shit, where you know, a freaking mixed dude, you know what I'm saying? Talking about, oh yeah, my features, you know, because I think we did something in school where, and I'm sure y'all know this thing where you do like the silhouette, you know what I'm saying? Like the silhouette of of your head or whatever, and it's like black, it's like you against like white paper and whatever. He'd be like, oh yeah, that's like the silhouette of a gorilla. And I had to tell, I say, yeah, that gorilla that you talking about fucked your mother, and now you're here, and your brother, and your sister, and your other sister, and your other cousin. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that gorilla silhouette is the reason why you here. So don't say shit. You can't say shit to me. I I belong to your father's tribe, nigga. You wouldn't be here without me. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's all coons must die, and maybe in other streams and stuff, I'm gonna go into more details about that, you know. But yeah, all coons must die, man. For real, you got to, man. And you know what? This is one thing I'm gonna say as well. I am so happy. I am. If there's one thing to take away from Trump's America, right, is the collective wake up call. Even though I don't think that these coon ass niggas have gotten a good enough wake up call yet. Like I said, I want them niggas to have PTSD. You know what I'm saying? But I just love how Trump's America is showing how useless these coon ass niggas are. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's making some of them even, some of these mental coons, especially, that's making them talk more in favor of black people all of a sudden, and you see them, in all walks of life, in real life, on the internet. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, their tone is a little different. It's a little different. It's not the way it was 4, 5, 6 years ago. You know, it's a little different now. Because they come to find out that, oh, nah, nigga, you're not exempt. You really aren't exempt. And I love the fact that it's being shown to them to their face. Right now in 2026, my nigga, if you are a coon ass nigga, like, you look all kinds of pathetic. You understand me? Yeah. Anyway, I'm at an hour 30 minutes. Let me shut it down. You know what I'm saying? I ain't eating all day. I need to go get me something to eat now and all that. Nigga like me, I wait till till it's late, till I get to eat something, so I can stick to my one meal a day shit. But anyway, um, I'm glad that more people were in here actually, because usually I always read one or two people, on this StreamYards thing. It seems like it was more people in here. So I definitely appreciate y'all for listening to me rant and everything, you know what I'm saying? For listening to the adventures of the dumb Brooklyn nigga that I told he was gonna be ass out. And it happened that way. And what I think about the whole Carmelo thing. And probably, on another day, I might have, the panel open and all that shit. But yeah. Thanks so much, guys, for hanging around. And I'ma see y'all on the next one. All right. Peace.